Comic fam, you're going to want to hit the subscribe button and hit that like button. We're going to jump into some comic books that I think you need to be aware of. This is a hot list, and clearly the books on here are all part of this universe, but we actually took off some of the ones that are just kind of easy to spec on that you would assume would be on here. Batman Adventures 12. Big surprise. That one's going to be number one on this list. So we took ones, we already mentioned where those numbers are at for that book and a couple others of those minor appearances. I want to fill this list up with things that you may not know that are moving and ones that we're keeping an eye out. And let's kick them off at the list here at number 10. Arris coming in with the first top 10 on the Bags and Boards show. Super excited about it. Batman Adventures issue number 28.
Dude, Batman Adventures issue 28. This is an awesome book. I mean, it's a Harley Quinn appearance. I believe it's the 4th Harley Quinn appearance, and the cover is just awesome. I mean, people want this issue alone because of the cover. You have Joker, Harley Quinn on it. It's her 4th appearance. It's animated, like you said. What's crazy with the animated universe right now is all of us kids that were watching this series and reading these comics in the 90s are now adults. We're like in our mid-20s to early 30s. So we got the money to spend. So we want to go back and buy these issues of these key appearances for these characters we liked and read these stories again. So this is definitely a book that if you like Harley Quinn, you like BTAS or the DCAU, it needs to be in your collection.
$25 average raw sales for this issue. There's a high sale of $105 graded at a 9.8. Officially has cleared the $100 marker. A lot of these books, Comic Fam, although they are lower print and harder to come by because they were marketed and sold mostly to children, we were younger when these came out, Arris. So we are the culprits here. We're the ones who screwed up a lot of these comics, but people are hunting them. So that's why we got to keep an eye out on a number of these comics, because these aren't dollar bin issues anymore, Comic Fam. They're rising. And let's take a look at number 9 on this list, because there's a lot of confusion behind it. We have Batman Mask of Phantasm, issue number 1, selling for $195 at 9.8, $40 average sales. We have this issue that marks the first appearance in the universe of the Phantasm. However, this is a deluxe edition. There's more than one copy of this issue, and we are talking about the red cover that's making the list. Clearly the one that is being bought and is in favor in the community.
Dude, for sure. It is a beautiful cover. It's that classic Bruce Timm art. What's funny is it seems like a lot of the variant covers or secondary or second print covers for these issues seem to be the fan favorites, which is not too surprising. But anything Bruce Timm does is fantastic. It has that very kind of like gritty pencil vibe to it, and it's just a fantastic cover. It's basically, I need it as a poster to blow up and hang here in my man cave because it's that cool.
Absolutely you do, man. All right, let's take a look at number 8 because you kind of alluded to it. We have Mad Love, the special. Okay, this is known as the second appearance of Harley Quinn in the animated series comic run. And what some members are going to be surprised to find out is we are actually going to put the second print on this list. We're not putting issue number 1 cover A here. No. Because we're actually seeing kind of a change to the market. This is why we got to keep up on these comics, Comic Fam. $425 for a 9.8 of the second print. We're seeing average sales of $20 raw. Now, let me get into why these numbers are interesting. $20 raw for this book is cheaper than a first print Mad Love. But a 9.8 going for $425 is higher than a 9.8 first print of Mad Love. What do you think about this, Arris?
Dude, it's not surprising at all. Again, I love the cover for this even more. The second printing cover. It is awesome. Again, you have that Bruce Timm art, and it's got classic Harley Quinn there with that big cork gun. You got freaking Joker with a Tommy gun. You got Batman chilling there looking all badass. It's just a beautiful, iconic cover. It was actually the wallpaper for my phone for the longest time. It's a beautiful cover. It's actually one of my favorite comic book covers ever. I might go as far to say it's in my top 10 just because Bruce Timm is easily one of my favorite artists. Harley Quinn and Batman animated series is clearly, one of my favorite things. Actually, my favorite thing in all of fandom. So this cover is very special to me, and it is not shocking at all that, it's finally, superseding the A cover for this. Even though the A cover is good, this one I think is far better.
There are a handful of books within this franchise that were adapted into comics that spike just because of the attractive cover, you know? And these are books that you gotta be up on. And I encourage the community to download Key Collector Comics, use the code Tom101, unlock a free subscription. There's actually a category right on the home screen for the comic book community. It's brand new because of this video, Arris. You know, we had to communicate to the masses the different books that the comic fam needs to be aware of. And now it's in one convenient place.
Yep, dude, Key Collector is an awesome freaking app. I've actually promoted it even on Variant several times before, because it's just got everything you need there. So if you want key issues, so you like me, like Harley Quinn, you type it into the app and it's going to give you all of her key issues. It's like the most stupidly easy thing ever. It's easier than even Googling. I've actually used it for research for Variant all the time. Like, not even just for going out and like hunting books and stuff for my personal collection. I use it like if I need to know a first appearance or a key issue for whatever character I'm going to talk about that episode. I'm like, and it just gives it to me. So, you know, it's a great app.
Looking at number 7 on the list, we have Batman and Robin Adventures number 8. One of those issues that you have to know by cover, and you're going to want to when you find out that this isn't a dollar bin issue. Goes for $35 average sales with a high sale at 9.8 at $78. And I suspect this comic book to end up exceeding 100 at some point. It's just a classic book.
Yeah, this comic is freaking awesome. It's basically an homage to that classic Batman and Robin pose, but with Poison Ivy and Robin on a rooftop. So that right there is going to get a lot of fans, you know, excited about this cover, that it's, you know, it's mimicking a famous pose for Batman and Robin, but also it's Poison Ivy. Especially it seems like with Batman the Animated Series, people love those quote-unquote pinup covers where the female characters are, you know, prominent on the cover with Harley Quinn, Batgirl, Ivy, and this is one of those covers and issues, so it's a must for any collection.
It's also a great Harley Quinn cover. I mean, holding that court gun.
Dude, yeah, she's pointing it at Robin like in the shadows as if she's like Batman. Great.
Next one on the list, we have at number 6 from the same run, Batman and Robin Adventures, issue number 21. Now, this classic Batgirl cover is also quickly approaching that $100 mark, $90 at 9.8 with $20 average sales.
This is a perfect example of what I was talking about with the previous issue, where this is that classic B-Taz pinup art. You got Batgirl there, beautiful Ty Templeton art. She's on a question mark. She's taken up the whole cover in this nice, sexy pose. Beautiful issue. I'm fortunate enough to have it in my collection, and I'm gonna send it out to get graded pretty soon because I want that 9.8.
Next one on the list at number 5, we have Batman Adventures Annual number 1. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Arris, I believe this is actually a thicker book, if I'm not mistaken.
For 100% it is, yeah.
Yeah, and that's going to make it that much harder to get in high grade, and that's why I want to put this right here mid on the list. 9.8's hitting $125 strong. It is tough to find this book in high grade below $25. Average sales are hitting 30, and aside from being like a milestone comic, you know, like this is the annual one from the series, people are after it. It's a big moment. Yep. It's also considered the 3rd appearance of Harley Quinn.
Yes, it is indeed. There we go with the Harley Quinn appearances again. It's considered the 3rd appearance of Harley Quinn. She's also on the cover next to Mr. J. Both of them are holding guns. You even got the ventriloquist on the cover, and then Batman on top of a rooftop being all badass and the Dark Knight he is. So it's just one of those key issues because, again, it's the first annual for the series, for the first series ever that's in canon with the DCAU and BTAS. And then also, it's the 3rd Harley Quinn appearance and just a good-looking cover.
This next one on the list, at number 4, has actually won awards for being one of the best comics created at the time that it came out. We have Batman Adventures, the holiday special. Classic Mr. Freeze cover with multiple stories on the inside. Now, some of these stories were translated into the animated series, were they not? But I don't believe the Mr. Freeze one was.
No, I believe, if memory serves me correctly, about 3 of the stories in this issue were translated into the new Batman Adventures episode titled Holiday Nights. You got the first story being Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy poisoning Bruce Wayne to go on a shopping spree. Then you got Batgirl chasing down Clayface. And then the last one is the Joker doing all kinds of shenanigans on New Year's Eve. And it's not only is it a fantastic episode, the book is awesome as well. And because of that, people are wanting it. But plus, the cover itself, You got that awesome noir Mr. Freeze art there with the red eyes and the snow falling down. It's like classic noir detective Batman, and it's just going to look beautiful in any collection.
I think of all the characters that the Batman animated series kind of brought to the masses' attention. I mean, it introduced a lot of great villains. Um, but one of the best that came out aside from like Harley Quinn as far as brand new characters, I have to say was Mr. Freeze. The redesign of this character was brilliant. They gave him depth, they gave him emotion, they added an origin story that was first seen here, not in the comics, but first seen here in the animated series that was made for kids. And something that I found just super interesting that also has kind of like, I don't know, indirectly made me a major Mr. Freeze fan was that back when this character design was being made, Bruce Timm was having trouble. He was having issues figuring out how to design Mr. Freeze. And based on the animated series release that hit Blu-ray, there's some behind the scenes on how this played out. It was fun to find out that in his search for an artist to redesign this character that he was having difficulty with, he was doing cold calls. Arris, can you imagine Bruce Timm doing cold calls to favorite artists trying to figure out who can redesign this character?
Dude, it's the weirdest thing, especially from an icon like Bruce Timm. You know, he's a titan in the industry because of all the designs and his art style from Batman the Animated Series and the DC Animated Universe like Justice League, Batman Beyond, Justice League Unlimited. So it's pretty crazy for him to see a guy like him be stuck on something. But I think, you know, it makes people realize that even being the best or greatest at something doesn't mean you're always going to nail it right away. But even going off that, you know, besides just actual character design, like you mentioned earlier, the new origin we got for Mr. Freeze in the episode titled Heart of Ice is insane. Like, a lot of people don't realize that before that episode, Heart of Ice, Mr. Freeze was like just a meh. He was almost like a throwaway Batman villain, you know what I mean? It was just a guy with an ice gun and it was like a green and pink suit. And this episode, Heart of Ice, Paul Dini, to be exact, gave Mr. Freeze his now definitive origin with Nora and just a husband who wants his wife back. He's not really interested in taking over the world, you know, wanting money and all that stuff. He steals diamonds and money and stuff only because he needs those resources to bring his wife back to life. So one of the best and most complex Batman villains ever, and we have BTAS and Paul Dini to thank for that.
That's right. And the episode that you're referencing was episode 3 of the series. This happened so early on, really setting the stage for how they were going to change this mythos in the most positive of ways. And I got to throw this out there because, you know, I'm a big Hellboy fan. Ron Perlman would end up playing the voice of Clayface. See, there is a Hellboy connection to be made, but this isn't the only one. Because the artist that Bruce Timm called, that he cold called to have that design made, that they would actually go to use in the animated series, would be none other than the king of negative space, Mike Mignola.
Dude, it's insane. I think, again, it goes back to, I don't think most people realize just how many creative geniuses worked on Batman the Animated Series. Like, you know, you got Ron Perlman, who this was way before he even played Hellboy, Mike Mignola, so many amazing voice talents. Mark Hamill voicing the Joker, Harleen Sorkin doing Harley Quinn, Kevin Conroy, who is the definitive Batman. This series, I could just, you know, I feel like I'm a mother bragging about my child with this series when I really have nothing to do with it, but I just love it so much.
Well, back to the holiday special, issue 1, going for $105 at 9.8, $15 average sales, incredibly undervalued for being a Harvey Award winner. This is a must for any Batman fan and one that I'm actively hunting myself. Let's take a look at number 3 on the list here. We have Batgirl Adventures. There was a lot of different spin-offs in the comics. They were definitely utilizing the hype of this show and trying to make as many comics as they could.
Dude, yeah. Now, what's really cool about this is, like you said, they retitled this spin-off series, or one-shot, if you will, to, instead of the Batman Adventures, the Batgirl Adventures, because it's a Batgirl story. Batgirl is on the cover, and she's on the cover in that classic BTAS red and black noir colors. As everyone who watches Batman the Animated Series knows, the skies in Gotham are red and black. It's a very dark show, and they recreated that with this cover. To be exact, Bruce Timm did this cover, and this cover got made into a Batman black and white statue by DC Collectibles, which I need to grab because I do have this cover. I was lucky enough to get this in a collection a few months back, but I need the statue to go along with it and then put them side by side because that would just be amazing.
We're seeing this book hit $190 at 9.8, and for average sales being $30, I think that just demonstrates how difficult it is to find this book in those higher tiers.
Dude, what's crazy is the copy I was able to obtain is in like immaculate condition. Like, I would be floored if it doesn't come back with at least a 9.6. Like, it's that good. It's a black, there's no spotting on the black cover. The spine is perfect. There's no creases or, dings on the edges. So again, I'm going to have to send that to get graded, and then maybe I'll have myself a $200 book.
Now at the list at number 2,
Batman Adventures number 36. Batman in this classic position in front of a collage of other key moments of the series. This book goes for over $200 in high grade.
But we're not putting standard cover A on here. No, because that wouldn't actually make the top 10. No, we're going to put the DC Universal logo variant on this list. I want to remind the community that this is only one example of many. The DC Universal logo was used for reprints of standard comics that were then put into a collection, like a grab bag style bundle that were then sold primarily at Toys R Us. So these are hyper scarce, and there's not an official list of what all exists. So people are hunting for ghost comics from this run. Is there DC Universal logos that exist or not? But this one in particular is one that we know that exists, that is selling for an inflated amount because the interest is there.
For sure. Yeah, this is a really cool book to hunt down. Like you said, it's kind of those little changes a lot of the times that makes a book spike, where it's not like a completely different cover or even a different color. It's something as simple like as a logo change, or even maybe sometimes a barcode, right? Like a newsstand edition.
Right.
So this is kind of one of those examples, and one I know I don't have, but I want to hunt down.
All right, this next one on the list, this is number 1. All right, Comic Fam, slap that like button if you like seeing Arris on the show. Maybe he'll come back if you support us. And we have to chat about number 1 on this list because I have been specking on this book. I've been watching this book for a long time. I know Nick over at Key Collector Comics has been doing the same. We have Batman Adventures issue number 16. All right, you're going to know that this book is important just by the cover. You have 2 characters that are famous in this run, Joker and Harley Quinn. It goes for $150 at a 9.6, not even a 9.8, 9.6 hitting $150, $30 average sales because, well, they get married? What's going on in this issue, Arris?
Dude, yeah, so the cover is Joker and Harley Quinn getting married on top of a wedding cake. This is one I do not have. I definitely want. But it's, very popular because of that, because it's the Clown Prince of Crime and Harley Quinn getting married on the cover of the book. And it's just a cool book for any Joker or Harley Quinn fan. Again, you have that classic BTAS style animation, and one that I actually was looking up prices for yesterday, funny enough. And like you said, it's kind of pricey to get one of these. So it's definitely one that's on my radar, and I want it very, very badly.
This wedding issue is really important, but they also get interrupted. So it doesn't actually, like, the deal doesn't get sealed, and they don't actually go on to be a married couple, but the intention was there, and it was felt by collectors, making this definitely a key comic that's moving in the market. I want to throw out just like an honorable mention to this list because we had a fun conversation about Mr. Freeze. In Batman Adventures issue number 25, you have a really fun Batman and Superman cover, but on the inside, on the last page, you get a Mignola pinup of Mr. Freeze. It's classic. This book is awesome, mostly for that reason alone. It doesn't sell for much, but as a Mignola fan, I had to point it out.
Dude, for sure. No, I just love the cover for that issue in general. Like you said, you got that Batman, Superman on the cover. It's very much an homage to the Batman Superman animated movie that's also within this continuity. And, really, really cool to have Mignola in the background there, or in one of the last pages of the issue.